Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is, wow, I'm coming on really strong. Let's try that again. Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Ian. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. I took off from filming and editing and all that jazz in the month of August, so it's been over a month since you've seen my face. I don't know if you missed me or if you had no idea I was even gone, but here I am. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm excited to be back. It was a nice time of focusing on my family and just being very present, and I'm very grateful for the last month. But I'm looking forward to being back and talking about books with all of you wonderful people. So let me know what you're doing, how you're doing, what you've been reading. Yeah, like I said, it's good to be back. But in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the books that I read over July and August. I say a little bit because, for one, I read 24 books over those 2 months, and I just don't know if I have the energy right now to talk about 24 different books and all that jazz. I want to kind of ease into filming and editing again. And editing, talking about 24 books would take me a very long time. So we're not going to do that. Additionally, I can't really talk about a bunch of them because I'm doing 2 TBR swaps, and then my book club with my dad. I want to save all my thoughts on those books for those separate videos. So it's a little bit tough because I can't really talk about a lot of the stuff that I read. So what the plan is I'm going to put up here screenshots of everything that I read in the last 2 months. And if there are any books that I don't talk about in this video that you want to know how I felt about, let me know in the comments. But I'm going to talk to you guys about my 5 favorite books that I read in the last 2 months. Aside from, again, the books that I read for different discussion videos, I can't tell you. So they might have been in my top 5 favorites, but I can't tell you that because that would be spoiling. So first of all, the books that I can't talk about are The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson, Hello Beautiful by Anna Napolitano, and Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. Those 3 books I read for the TBR swap video that I'm doing with Kelly over at Coffee Cups and Books. I'll leave her channel link down below. And then I can't talk about Windhaven by George R.R. Martin and Lisa Tuttle. And I can't talk about The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez because I did a TBR swap with my friends Kyle and Jordan, whose channels I'll leave linked down below as well. And then, like I said, there's the book club with my dad. We read Butcher's Crossing. He's still finishing it up, so we'll have a discussion video out for that in the next, hopefully, few weeks. But yes, can't talk about that one yet because I want to save all my thoughts for our discussion. So those are the 6 books I can't talk about. Here are the screenshots of all of the books that I read. I think it's going to take a minute. It's probably taking up the whole screen, actually, but I don't know. Yeah, it was a lot of books. But these are the books that I read. It was a great time of reading. I read 12 books each month, which was kind of cool. And if you have any questions about any of those, let me know. But in this video, I'm going to tell you my 5 favorite books that I read over July and August. So finally, without any further ado, let's jump in. So let's go ahead and get this one out of the way because I've talked about this series seemingly to no end, and that is Kristen Britton's Green Rider series. This is book 7. Yeah, book 7, Winterlight. And it's the most recent volume that has been fully published at this point. It is a big, big one. My goodness. But the font, I will say, is like quite large. So yeah, but this was fantastic. I love Green Rider so much. I've talked about the series in like countless videos at this point, but just know that it is a fantastic blending of classic and modern fantasy with a very, very well-crafted protagonist, some emotional stakes that are very intense, some great relationship dynamics, magic system, plot, intrigue, politics, so many different things going on in this series. It is fantastic. So underrated. More people need to read it. If you like Realm of the Elderlings, please read Green Rider. It's so good. And book 8, Falling in a Sea of Stars, is out at the end of September. So very excited about that. But yes, love that book. It's probably my 2nd favorite in the series. Once I'm done with the upcoming novel, I'll do a ranking and review video of the whole series. But it was really good. Really good. So next up, we'll go ahead and talk about one of my most anticipated new releases, Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. I love Samantha Downing's thrillers so much. I've read all of them. And she does a lot of interesting things with the way that she writes her protagonists. And this is no exception. In fact, this is perhaps the perfect example of what she can do with her protagonist. So in this novel, we follow an older woman. I believe she's in her 70s. And she's a retired serial killer. And she has no qualms about talking to us, the reader, about her history. So we know from the get-go that that's who she is. But she has a stranger show up on her door asking some questions, and it kind of leads her to have to do some things. That's all I'm going to say. But this book was great. I think that it is kind of reminiscent of You by Caroline Kepnes, where you have a protagonist who's doing some pretty awful things, but weirdly enough, you find yourself like almost rooting for them. Not that they do more bad things, but that they not get caught, I guess. Like, it's a very strange, very, very strange situation to be in. But I think that there's something like darkly humorous about this book. Like, it's almost like a dark comedy thriller, because she's this old woman, and she goes to like bingo night at her church, and she like is worried about her son and his future and all that jazz. It's just a very, very unique approach to this story. And there have been a lot of stories these days about like older people who are like solving murders, but not a lot about them committing murders. So I thought this was just so good, so well done, and she executed it. See what I did there? Perfectly. Samantha Downing is fantastic. One of my favorite thriller writers, and I think this is a fantastic place to start. And also, I know some people out there, I'm looking at you, Jake, and Stacy, haven't been crazy about Samantha Downing's books in the past. Give this one a go, because it was a banger. It was really, really good. Next, we're going to talk about what is possibly my favorite book that I read over the last 2 months. That is We Are All Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter. Holy smokes, this book was so good. So much better than I thought it would be. Not because I don't trust Karen Slaughter, but just because it has been a long time, not a long time, I guess, but it's been months since I was so hooked by a mystery that I was physically reading. I do a lot of audiobooks, but I got an e-arc of this one, picked it up on a whim, and I just like could not put it down. I was reading it literally everywhere. I was reading it in bed, I was reading it at my desk, I was reading it at the dinner table practically. Not really, but like I spend time with my kids, I swear. But like I was reading it at work on my lunches. I was reading it in the bathroom on my phone. Like, man, it had me hooked. I could not stop reading this book. This is a story of a small town called North Falls, I believe. Start of a brand new series by Karen Slaughter. And in this we follow kind of a family of cops. Really, there's one main character, but essentially a friend of hers, her stepdaughter goes missing, as well as another girl, and it is a race against the clock to try to find these girls. And there's a lot of different storylines, a lot of different characters, some different POVs that I didn't see coming. We kind of get introduced to a character halfway through the story that ended up being one of my favorite characters. It's just a story that like has such great emotional depth. Great character relationships, like utterly fantastically done character dynamics, and just a plot that like had me on the edge of my seat. It is a Karen Slaughter book, and if you've read any of her books, you know what I mean, in that like it's got some pretty heavy triggers. It's dark, it's depressing at times, but it was just so addicting. I could not stop reading this book. So if you're looking for somewhere to start with Karen Slaughter, I think this is a great place to start. Like I said, it's the beginning of a new series. She has other series as well, like the Grant County books and the Will Trent series, of course, but those are kind of tied together. And I do wonder if at some point, because this is set in Georgia, near Atlanta, which is where the Will Trent series is set, I wonder if Will Trent will show up at some point. But for now, there are no ties really to other stories. So this is a great place to start if you want to get into an ongoing series, and it's a fantastic read. So yes, I loved We Are All Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter. So fantastic. 5 stars, one of my favorite books of the year. Will definitely be on my year-end list. All right, we're on our final 2 books. So I'm going to go with a new-to-me author over the past couple of months, and then I'm going to go with an old favorite. New-to-me author, we have Keith Rawson and Fever House. Keith Rawson is definitely like showing up as a brand new possible favorite author of all time. Because I've read 2 books by him now. I read Coffin Moon in July, which was really good, and then I read Fever House in August, which was amazing. This book was so good, and I cannot wait to read the sequel to it, which is the conclusion of this duology. This book is kind of hard to describe because it is very multifaceted, but it's a horror novel where a small-time gangster basically comes to get this guy who owes this larger gangster money, and while he's there, he discovers a hand in a freezer, and he takes it with him because he feels like he has to, and this hand causes people to do some things that aren't good. And things go from there like in so many different directions. There are a lot of different POVs. The story is insane and gritty and awesome and dark, and just utterly exploded in a way that I did not see coming. I freaking loved it. This book is so good. One of my favorite horror books that I've read this year for sure, and I cannot wait to see how it's concluded in book 2. So if you're looking for a horror author who really pushes the limits of horror and goes in some interesting directions and just has a really gritty way of writing with fantastic dialogue, give Keith Rawson a try, give Fever House a try, give his new book Coffin Moon a try. I'll have a review out for that probably soon because it comes out later this month, but I loved this. So good. And finally, we have what is probably my least expected favorite book of the last couple of months, which is weird because it's by an author who I have, of course, read so many books from and I love so much, that being Stephen King. But nobody talks about this book, and I don't understand why. The novel is Blaze. It's technically written by Richard Bachman, but it's Stephen King. You know, that's his pseudonym. And this was amazing. It is easily my favorite Richard Bachman book and is in my top 10 Stephen King books of all time. And I've read close to 60. This book was incredible. I should have known, well, if I had known that this is like Stephen King's kind of take on Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, I would have perhaps gone in with higher hopes, but I had like almost no idea what this book was about. The reason that I read it was because it has a Z in the title, and I'm part of a in-person book club that does like bingo boards every quarter, and one of the squares is read a book with a Z in the title. So I was like, this. I think Jake recommended it to me, so thank you, Jake. But I picked this up, and it blew me away. It really did. It's like if Of Mice and Men was told from the perspective of Lenny, and Lenny was kind of on his own and had to kind of figure things out. It was so good. I found this main character, Blaze, to be just so endearing, tragically so, because he does some things where you're like, dude, please don't do that. But he almost like, it makes sense why he does. Like, he doesn't have a lot of choice. He is just kind of trying to do the best he can. And he has a good heart, despite the fact that he's a criminal. And I love this book a lot. It's tragic, it's beautiful, well written. Stephen King talks about it in the introduction where he like wrote this book intentionally kind of like a little bit more sparsely. Like he wasn't like expounding with his dialogue and his descriptions as much. It was just a little bit more cut and dry. And I thought he did that so well. Sometimes I wish he'd do it more often, to be honest, because sometimes his writing just is so over the top and I'm like, what are you doing with this description, dude? Or like, why did you say that? This just felt very gritty, very punchy, and it was so good. It was so good. So if you're looking for an underrated Stephen King book, please pick up Blaze. Like I said, it's in my top 10 from him now, and it's so good. I loved Blaze a lot. Okay, guys, those are the 5 best books that I read in the last 2 months, of course, excluding any that I can't talk about. A banging couple of months, though. Like, I had a lot of, like, all of these that I talked about, I think were 5 stars, for the most part. Maybe one wasn't quite a 5-star, but it was a crazy run of books. So I'm happy. I hope that you enjoy this video. Let me know if any of these books sound interesting to you. I hope they do because they're awesome. But yeah, I'll be back with more videos soon. Happy to be back. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see. Do you want book reviews? Do you want, I don't know, series reviews? Do you want top 10 lists? I don't care. Tell me what you want to watch and maybe I'll try to accommodate. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.